Ahoy everybody, I'm Nerdragefred, and today we're taking a look at the Tzeentch Roster that got released so we can check that out. Now I know change is scary, but that's cool. I'm here with you. Now, let's get into it. Now, we're just going to read through the blog and we're going to go do a TLDR, maybe how things will be used, and that'll be how we're doing it. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, we start off, Kara's Fate Weaver. Cool Lord, has Staff of Tomorrow, makes all cooldown reduction go better. Well, go down, essentially. Go better, what the hell. He also has Fragments of Magic, which is really cool. It is basically that he can have magic from any school of magic, and he can't, he shoots those per battle, but only one of the fragments that spells come from is what can be used. He can fly, he can walk. What can't he do? Apparently more than one school of magic at a time. And, should also be said, every single unit, lord, everything will have the barrier of Tzeentch, which is basically just the Protoss shield. That actually sounds really good. We'll see how that one actually turns out. But it's just the fact that you can actually fight for a bit and not take damage for just a set amount of time while damaging the other is really, really good. Honestly, it is probably one of the biggest strengths for them. We'll see how they balance that one. He also has the Gaze of Fate, which essentially is Death of Ammon talk, but also drops their mate attack. That's cool, I guess, if it's more than one that they do it on. Otherwise, it's just one of those multiplayer abilities once again. You also get this Exalted Lords of Tzeentch. Has everybody gets metal, which is a weird thing. I don't like metal. I think lore of metal is pretty bad. I think Balthazar Gelt is fantastic and one of the best lords in the game. But I don't like metal. Gelt is good, not lore of metal. It's maybe hard to wrap your one's head around, but a normal metal mage isn't that good. The AI can use that really, really well, but there's better for the player. Or they also take the lore of Tzeentch. Now, it's kind of weirdly worded here because it says that Tzeentch's spellcast is specialized in either the lore of metal, all the spells you're used to, and the lore of Tzeentch, right? So I guess it's either or. And lore of Tzeentch seems really cool. It's apparently just a fully offensive lore. You have 4 direct damage spells. You're gonna find which one is the best one, I guess, and just go ham on that one most of the time. And maybe 1 or 2 debuffs, right? Anyway, that sounds really, really cool. I'm looking forward to the lore of Tzeentch. You also get the Herald. TLDR on that one. Writes a cool disc. Or a Burning Chariots. Gets metal or Tzeentch magic, like the other ones. I'm fairly sure I'm gonna enjoy the Exalted Lord of Change way more, honestly. But the other one might be really cool. I mean, the chariot might be broken or they might be just really, really good. Depends, like Arcane's flying chariots, not that good. New animations now coming in, could be insanely good actually. Weaving across the battlefield, doing cav charges, like a really good chariot charge, and you know, doing spells in the meantime as well. Now for the heroes, you get cultists. They get TLDR on those. They get Lore of Fire, which is always really good, unless they nerf it or rebalance it for the next one. They already changed the diameter of like the actual spell a couple of times. Might have noticed you don't kill as much as you used to maybe at the start of the game. Or the start of the life cycle of Warhammer 2. But it's a good, you know, all-around thing that you can just use with Flamestorm, Burning Skull, things like that. It's always, you can always find use for it, especially also Fairy Rain, Burning, whatever it's called. I can't remember anymore. Really cool thing about that one, on the campaign map, it can make cults, cult headquarters, it seems, and it can also summon demons, including Lords of Change. Not the exalted ones though, but still. You also get the Iridescent Horror. They either get Disc or Chariot, once again. They get Lore Metal, and they buff things around them, and summon more things, like the Cultist does. It's supposed to be okay in melee as well, so you might want to do that one instead of the Cultist, depending on the spells you guess. The Chariot, once again, how good that one will be, we'll just have to see. Now for the units, you get the Blue Horrors. It's supposed to be just a chaff unit, you just throw them in, chuck them in. They have apparently some form of limited barrage that they chuck in before anything else, like Oxyotls, Skink Skirmishers. They just fires like a couple of javelins and then they run in. Apparently these dudes will do something similar with their just breathe fire on them and then jump in. See what they do. They look very happy though, so we got that going for them. Most important note, all demons crumble, they don't flee. That's actually very good because, for example, vampires, even though the skeletons have a very low leadership, they don't actually take any damage or flee or anything like that up until they take a very high minus in, well, I say very high minus, but until they have a very, very low leadership. I mean, like minus, if they have 30, they have to have minus 60 to actually, you know, disintegrate and crumble. So that's, you know, they will stick around for a long time. Even though they are weak, they won't die that fast. Well, they won't flee that fast. As melee units, they also get Forsaken of Tzeentch. That's just reskin Forsaken. You get, you know what you get, but they have Protoss shields, so that's cool. Now you guess the pink horse as well, looking pretty cool. They spew fire across the battlefield. You've seen that in the trailers. How good it'll be, we'll have to see, but I'm looking forward to trying them out. Once again, they crumble, Protoss shields, and they're apparently also better in melee than the blue horrors. So I guess once you get these, you just never get the blue ones anymore. You get Exalted, pink horse as well of Tzeentch. Apparently they work like a flamethrower, so you put them in, have a lower unit counts. They start belching flames, and the more you have of these in an army, the more Winds of Magic you get as well. So that's a cool buff. Now for the cavalry, you get Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. That just seems to be a reskinned Chaos Knights without lances, the ones with shields and swords. You also get Chaos Knights on, well, Doom Knights of Tzeentch, which is just the knights on discs, which is pretty cool. They are supposed to be glass cannons. Just go in, murder stuff, flanking. Once again, everything that's glass cannon, I am always a little bit wary of. The Dark Elves are supposed to be the glass cannon faction right now, but so much stuff actually outdamages them. And I think that the shield and the Protoss shield, or the Tzeentch barrier, will actually make that one so much better, honestly. So I'm very hyped to actually try these out in battle, because on paper they sound amazing, but sometimes stuff doesn't translate well from theory and written context to the actual, like, you know, battle. So we'll see. And then you have the Burning Chariot of Tzeentch. From what I understand, is very fast mobile artillery. Runs out of ammo very fast, but does a ton of damage whilst it's actually there. So think about it as flying, more squishy necrophects, I suppose, with better artillery, maybe. I don't actually know. We'll have to see. I mean, the angle of the necrophects actually does a little bit better as well, because the cannonballs go from the front. If you would shoot them from, you know, a flyer, they wouldn't do too well. So well, it just depends on the missiles, doesn't it? How what kind of missiles they actually do, how good they will be. Which, you know, always it's like that with artillery. Now, for the Monster and Beast, you get Chaos Furies. I said they were demons from 4th edition, but apparently there is Furies. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess. They're apparently just like harpies that look really cool. They still get the barrier, but in the end, like, harpies aren't that good unless you really spec into them, and even then you have so many other things that do work so much better. And we'll see how they go. Also, they do get Vanguard, so that's a plus. You also have Screamers, flying, early cav. They do have shields, so maybe they'll survive a little bit longer depending on the shield. Likely you're not going to be using those a lot. They feel like a unit that won't be good, but is pretty cool and iconic. So we'll see how those goes, actually. But in the end, I'm going to be pretty wary of them. And just wait until I actually get to try them out. Then you get the Spawn of Tzeentch as well in the monster range. And the Chaos Spawns are reskin Chaos Spawn. I don't know what you were expecting, honestly. That's just, you know, Chaos Spawn with Protoss shields. Here's the really cool one. Lord of Changes. That's just Sartwell, essentially. But you don't get the campaign skills. He doesn't level up. He does have a very, you know, they're very good in melee. You know, it's like running through infantry lines, spreading terror, doing spells. Apparently, like, it all depends if they're going to have bound spells or if it's going to be that they're actually going to cast spells as well. My bet is that it's going to be bound spells because it's a unit and not a lord or a hero. That makes them amazing. They also get better spells via tech changes. And even though Sarthal isn't the best melee lord, it's a giant monster that just rampages through stuff, spreads terror. That's really good. After that, you have the Flamers of Tzeentch, and they seem to be flamethrowers of Tzeentch. We'll see how they work out. They apparently give a good debuff in melee as well to the enemy, which will make them a good support unit nonetheless. Because their fire isn't really fire, it's something that just warps reality. So we'll see. Then we have the Exalted Flamer, which is apparently something from League of Legends. I thought first, but it's also something in the game. So they just spray stuff in a cone, very low ammo, and it's probably a single entity unit, I would bet. From the trailer, we saw they very likely fly, and they're going to be pretty goddamn cool. I hope anyway. I mean, like, probably I used the word cool too much. I've been playing this series for like, what, 20 years now? Well, I actually have been playing for 20 years because I played Shogun 1 when it got released. So I've been following the series for a long time. I like the series, you know, I like everything new. And for the last bit, we have the Soul Grinder. Soul Grinder throws anti-large spears, has magical attacks as well as AP, and just looks pretty cool. Now, a really strange thing always about magical attacks, right? When they have magical on them. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but there's probably somebody who doesn't know. Now, if the other one that you're fighting, or if the enemy has magic resistance, that will actually make the melee attack do less damage. So, for example, first, before they reworked Wursag, and you gave your entire army magical attacks, your entire army of orcs would just do 25% less damage in melee towards dwarves, which was insanely bad, as you might imagine. Now they actually reworked that one, so it removes all magical resistance for the other army. And we'll have to see how this one works. I think they were reworking that in some way, so we'll see how that one turns out. Exciting, isn't it? Now, that's it for me today. I'm Nerdragefred. You can find me on twitch.tv/Nerdragefred. I stream like 6 days a week, and then I do these. So obviously, I probably need to sleep more, honestly. You can also find me on Twitter as Nerdragefred. But come into the Twitch channel, say hello. I always enjoy anyone from YouTube coming in saying hello. I see a lot of you guys aren't subscribed, and a lot of people are just finding this channel. So that's very cool. I say a lot. It's not a big channel. It's like maybe 70 of you or something, which is still like a weird number, really. But if you stuck around this long, like and subscribe, give a comment. It helps the channel a lot. I really do appreciate it when people do that. If you didn't like it, then leave a like anyway. I mean, like, what do you have to lose, right? What do I have to lose? Everything. No, actually, probably not a loss. That's it from me today. I hope change wasn't too scary, and I'll see your cute faces next time.